Alright, perfect. So welcome to the next video of database design. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how our tables go from our ERDs into actual tables that you'll see when you are in XAMPP and you've created your tables for your database design. So as we can see here, the relationship that we've denoted is a one-to-many. So we're saying that each order that's in the order table belongs to one customer only, and each customer can make many orders. Okay, so just imagine like this. We've been given some business rules. Here's our customer. Here's our order table, and a particular company has said, hey, our customers can make multiple orders in a day. So we've said, boom. We've got the many over here, and they said, and each order though can only belong to one customer, obviously, because otherwise two customers could buy the same thing at the same time, which just wouldn't make any logical sense. Okay, so we understand how this looks in an ERD or an entity relationship diagram when we're writing it up using business rules. But then what does that look like when we insert data into a table? And that's what I'm explaining today. Okay, so if we look here, we can see that a one-to-many relationship exists here, saying that one customer is belonging to the particular order in this order table. So what that means is order 1 has customer number 1. It doesn't have customer number 1, 2, and 3. It only has customer number 1, okay? Now, it's saying that a customer can belong to many different order IDs. And as you can see here, that is true, where customer 1 belongs to many of these particular order IDs. Okay? Customer 2 belongs to 2 of the order IDs. So that's what it means when it says many. Okay? It means that there's many instances where this particular customer, one of the customers up here, might belong to a particular order or order record in this order table. Now, what does it mean when it's got the one here? It's just saying that only one customer ID can be fit into this particular attribute. Okay? So this is great. What does this mean? This means that when we look up the order number 101 in our table when we're doing our queries, what we see here is that order number 101 belongs to customer 1. Okay? Now we can look up customer 1. We can figure out, okay, that is John Doe, and he is buying a laptop at the quantity of 1, and this is the date that he ordered it. Perfect. That's like a perfect example of a one-to-many relationship and how we'd use it. Okay. Now there's no crossover here. There's no issues here. We can clearly see that each record in this order table is crystal clear. It's saying that, if we look up order 104, we can see that that belongs to customer 3, which is Bob Johnson. Here's his email. Here's what he's ordered. And this is the quantity and this is the date he ordered. So that's the one-to-many relationship. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll talk about a one-to-one relationship. Okay, perfect. So here's another example of a type of relationship that we know was one-to-one. So one-to-one. Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means that this person table, so we've got, I'll just describe what the tables are. So we've got a person table up here that is describing a person. It's got their ID, their name, and their email address. And then down here we've got the address. So that we've got the actual address that the person is living at. Okay. Now these type of tables might be relevant for maybe a medical database where we need to find the person's name and where they live, or something like that for medical reasons. If it's necessary, I guess it could also be used for, real estate database or something like that. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a one-to-one, meaning that one instance of the particular person that's up here can only belong to one instance of the address down here, meaning that a person can only have one address. Okay, so what we can see here is that address ID 101 belongs to person 1, which means that's John Doe and he lives at this address. Okay, John Doe can't also live at address 102. So that's why this relationship is a one-to-one. As you can see here, Jane Smith belongs to address ID 102 and Bob Johnson belongs to address ID 103. All of these values are unique, specifying the addresses that they live at. Therefore, this relationship is a one-to-one. There's no instance where another row or record is added where John Doe now also lives on Maple Street and Elm Street or something like that. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about too is participation. So as you can see here, that we haven't really spoke about the participation, how that affects these particular tables. Okay. So if we had the participation as optional here, what that would mean is that if John Doe didn't have address and he didn't want to tell them about his address, there's an instance here where John Doe might not actually have an address at all, which means that his information wouldn't even be included in this other table. Okay, but there'd still be that relationship there where some of these people up here would still be included in this table. Okay, now if it's mandatory, that would mean that this is then taken away, meaning that John Doe has to have a address. He has to have a particular address that's in the address table. Otherwise, there will be an issue here. Okay, and that's all it means. So when you look at participation, it just means that can this particular relationship occur. If it's mandatory, it means that yes, it has to occur. There has to be a record in this table for this particular entry. And in the instance that it's not mandatory, it means that this particular entry doesn't have to occur. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that sort of clears up some of the thoughts behind how this ERD translates into an actual table. Okay, thank you for today's participating in today's video. I'll put some more examples up of ERDs that you can practice, and then we'll head into the content in future videos. Thank you.